tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Hello there, this is Farm Kenya Show right here on KTN. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. Today we'll be speaking about cucumber farming. You've seen it on salads, on different foods, and today we get to discuss about it. And joining us is Stephen Kihoro, who is a cucumber farmer. He is well versed in this, and he'll be telling us more about this and what it means when you are a farmer at home and want to start cucumber farming. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
But before we speak to Stephen, let's go to the farm and look at this particular story.
Samuel Kituku is a cucumber farmer and farm worker at Farm Tribe in Limuru, Kiambu County. He shares his journey into cucumber farming, explaining how he got started in agriculture and what inspired him to pursue it as a career.
Kwa majina ni Samuel Mwanzia. Nafanya saa hii farming ya cucumbers. Niko Kiambu County, Limuru. Shamba tunajitanga Farm Tribe. Hapa ndo tunafanyanga kazi sasa. Sekta kilimo nilianza kuendeleza na kilimo nikiwa class 6. Saa zingine nilikuwa na Saturday na naomba ruhusa na nadanganyana tu shule. Nisifike shule, mimi nilikuwa interested na kuingia mashambani tu, kufanya kibarua. Kuanzia class 6 hadi nikamaliza high school. Mimi naonanga tu mimea na furahia kuona greens, kukaa nayo, kuifanyia kazi. Alafu ukifika ni mambo ya mazao inakuanga fiti. Nikimaliza high school sikuenda mahali kuisomea, lakini through online kwa mitandao tu, na hiyo practice ilikuwa nafanya ground. Cucumber unaweza tumia kupika maboga zako, ama unaweza tumia kama matunda tu unaweza kula. Ikiwa hivi kama imekomaa inakuanga ready.
The Agribiz Mind now outlines key requirements for successful cucumber farming, including proper land preparation, fertile well-drained soil, quality seeds, adequate irrigation, timely fertilization, and effective pest and disease management.
Cucumbers inahitaji mahali safe kwa baridi, direct sunlight unajizuia, inataka tu ile heat ya kutoka kwa karatasi. Alafu inahitaji maji, kuiangalia kwa mambo ya fertilizer na mbolea, unaweza tumia mbolea, manure. Ikifika mahali unaanza hizi fertilizer sasa una apply. Unaiangalia maji sana. Mchanga hii ni black cotton soil, red soil.
The young farmer shares the variety of cucumber he grows and explains why it is well suited to his farm and market needs.
Hii ni Midas. Variety ya cucumbers ni Midas. Ni better, saa hii ni better. Ndo nimeprefer. Inafanya vizuri.
Samuel takes us through the cucumber planting process, explaining how the crop is established from seed to germination, field management, and healthy crop development.
Unaingia tu kwa agrovet, unanunua seeds, unapeleka kwa propagator, unampea seeds zako, anakupropagatea. Masaa yenye ana propagate, unatayarisha shamba, mali utakuja kuzieka seedlings. After 2 weeks, unafaa kuwa ready kwa shamba, umeprepare. 2 weeks, unaendea. Unakuja unazieka kwa greenhouse yako. Land preparations, kwanza kuna kutengeneza the structure, kuna kuangalia maji, inakuwa iko hakuna dili za maji, kuna kuweka hizi structures zote za drip na kuweka hizi bed.
Samuel explains the importance of irrigation in cucumber farming, highlighting how a reliable water supply supports healthy plant growth, improves fruit quality, and maximizes yields.
Drip inasaidia kutumia maji kidogo, alafu maji yake vile inatoa inaenda specific to the plant. Ita spread all over. So inatumia maji vizuri, na kwa dakika yenye unaipea inatumia vizuri na inatoka vizuri. 1.5 inch height, na upana wake ni around a meter. Spacing yake huku ndani unaweza pita ukispray dawa, hiyo inakupea, ndo mananga unaweka hii spacing ndo upate njia kupita vizuri ukipiga dawa. Ukiapply fertilizer, kama una apply ile ya direct, si ile ya fertigation, una apply direct hapa chini. Alafu weeding, lazima upate path. Kwa manure tunatumianga dry, hii ya mbuzi ama kondoo. Hiyo ikiingia kwa mchanga, ikiwa dry, alafu uipe maji vizuri, inatoa nutrients kwa haraka, ina dissolve kwa mchanga vizuri na release nutrients kwa haraka. Sealing hole tunatumianga 1 inch kwenda chini, inatumianga 1 inch. One sealing to the other ni 30 centimeters. Inategemea na vile una prefer, kama unataka 45 ama 30 according to your spacing yenye uta prefer. Yenye utaona inafanya vizuri, tumia hiyo, lakini kwangu natumia 30 centimeters. Itakupea bigger fruits. Sana sana unaangalia hivi, ukienda 45 kuna utaruka trimo 2 ya maji, so bado utakuwa na wastage of water bado. Sasa umeweka kwa mchanga, first time unazipea tu maji, na day 1 kuna dawa unafaa ku apply ya hizi fungicides ama pesticides yoyote yenye inaweza kuwa kutoka kwa mchanga ama yenye ilikuwa kwa hiyo building, hiyo structure. Kuna dawa yenye unafaa kupiga na ni brilliant, ndio na prefer kutumia day 1. Yeah, after 1 week unaanza kutumia mafungicides ama pesticides. Kuna ile table yako umetengeneza ya vile utaweka fertilizer na interval yako ya kupiga dawa, unafaa kuwa na interval na usimess up 1 week napiga, lakini kwa fertilizer 3 weeks. After 3 weeks fertilizer differently, alafu after 1 week hapo ni kwa madawa. Flowering inafanya within 2 weeks after transplanting, inaanza kutoa maua. Hapo ndo unaipeanga hii kamba, hii string una apply, unaipea inapanda na hiyo moja. Ikitoa suckers, hiyo suckers ni ya kutoa, unaacha the main stem peke yake. Size ya matunda kwanza itapungua juu ya competition of nutrients, ama size ya matunda itapungua kwanza. After 45 days hapo ndo unaweza kuwa unaanza harvest yako. Harvest yako kwanza unaanzanga na 45 days. Scout unafanyanga morning and evening. Unaangalia kuweka kwanza, unaangalia matawi, unaangalia vile zinapanda na kamba kama iko poa, unaangalia matawi kama ziko na effect, maua kama zinafanya flower abortion, unaangalia daily. Tunafungulianga maji once per day, jioni peke yake. Tumeweka bedi 7 kwa gate pap moja, so tunatumianga 5 minutes inatosha. Inakuanga 5 minutes unapata hiyo maji imesurround hiyo kamumea vizuri, imekunywa vizuri hadi kwa roots. Ukifanya scout upate matawi kuna spots, jua kuna effect imeingia, kuna effect kwa shamba. Size yake ni kidogo juu ya tumefanya pruning ya matawi, na matawi ndio inafanya photosynthesis, so chakula yake ya matunda ni kidogo, na matawi tumetoa kwa sababu imekuwa na effect. Kwa magonjwa huwezi kiwa, una prevent. Magonjwa ikiingia kwa cucumber hakuna kukiwa, ni kuprevent.
The cucumber farmer shares the challenges he faces in farming, including pest and disease outbreaks, unpredictable weather, water shortages, fluctuating market prices, and the rising cost of farm inputs.
Kuprevent, tunajaribu kupunguza hizo matawi zenye zimekuwa affected sana. So tunapunguza hizo matawi kwanza. Cucumber inakuanga ni mistake moja tu, una fail the whole season. Kwetu tumejaribu, bado hatujaanguka sana. Fruit and rot, kuna flower abortion, na kuna mildew yenye napata kwa matawi saa hii. Wanyama sijapata nao. Maji inatosha kwangu, haisumbuangi.
Samuel takes us through the harvesting process, explaining how cucumbers are picked at the right stage of maturity before being sorted, packaged, and prepared for the market. He also discusses the markets for his produce and the factors that influence prices.
Cucumber nafanyanga harvest weekly. Kama ni Thursday, ni kila wiki. Nikianza harvest ni Thursday daily, weekly. Unaangalia size yake vile zimefuatana. Unaweza pata ya kuna yenye unaweza pata iko juu lakini imekomaa kushinda yenye hapo chini. So kwanza unaangalia size yake yenye una harvest na vile wewe unataka. Kama unataka size large unachuna hiyo, kama ni medium unapeana hiyo. Lakini ukipeana medium hiyo kwanza unaanza kuhesabu hasara kwa shamba yako. Natakanga upeane ile quality. So kwa cucumber inaweza sema iko na pesa, saa zingine ina pesa. Kwangu natumia cucumber kama crop rotation. Nafanya tu crop rotation ya mchanga, ndio natumia cucumber. Ma certificate tuko nazo, tumesoma sana, campus hata inishtui. Lakini ikifika kwa ground Siri kwa hii dunia ni moja tu, ukuwe na pesa na Mungu. So ukiingia kwa kulima kuna kufail, ukijituma kuna kufail. Ma certificate tunaweka kando, cheo tunaweka kando, unajituma tu kwa hii mchanga. To reach us, unaweza tupata tu Kiambu County, Limuru.
All right, after that, now let's get into the conversation. Stephen Kihoro is here, who is an expert and also a farmer in this, and I believe you've experienced this for a long time. So what should farmers consider, especially when they are setting up their farm in order for them to start planting cucumber?
Well, for cucumbers, based on my experience, you need water. You need to have water in the farm because cucumbers are mostly water. The fruit itself are mostly water. So I would say water is the most important item that you need in the farm, and you need good farm hands because they're the ones who will be handling the cucumbers in the farm. So I would say water and a good farm hand are the basic for cucumber farming.
All right. So as you say water, let me throw in and ask you about the system of farming, the different innovations that we have. Can cucumber be grown on hydroponic system of farming? Is it going to be working under such conditions?
Well, when it comes to hydroponics, I'm not really an expert on that. We've never tried it, but I think it's a sector where we can venture into, but we've never really thought about it.
All right.
Yeah, we actually do ours in greenhouses with the drip irrigation. We've never tried hydroponics.
All right. Let's go back to the greenhouse now and look at the ideal conditions under which cucumbers can grow, because you've spoken about water, which is very important. You've said it's the most important. So when you look at the base, which is of course the soil that holds this particular plant, what are we looking at in terms of what we need? Because now you have water and you have the base that will hold the plant. Yes.
Well, in the structure, the most important part is you need to have the beds need to be well raised and a very fine tilth, because cucumbers are very sensitive. They're not like other crops that we've dealt with.
Yes.
Cucumbers, they are very, very sensitive. So if you plant them wrong, if you water them wrong, if you just come from another part of the farm and get into the greenhouse, you are likely going to spread, let's say, pests or let's say fungal infections. So for us, cucumbers, the most important thing when planting is make sure there's a fine tilth. You can spray some products like inputs on the soil to prevent fungal infections and things like that. Yeah.
Right. And since it's a sensitive plant, the way you've said, as a farmer, what do you do when you're planning now? You're saying, this, I want to now grow a cucumber for this season. How do you make sure that the environment and the cleanliness around the plant, especially during those early stages, what do you do as a farmer?
Well, for our past season, the season that we just had, we had an issue with downy mildew. It's a fungal infection that really affects the cucumbers. So it caught us off guard, and it was deadly. It almost wiped out the entire greenhouse. So we did our own research, and we found out measures that you can help to reduce that. So on our next season, what we plan to do is we can have like these overalls that farmhands wear, which they stay inside the greenhouse. They don't move out. They don't get into contact with the outside environment. So they have to stay inside the greenhouse. Make sure you spray your inputs in time, your fungicides in time, and aeration. It's very important. Since it's in a greenhouse, temperatures get very high and it gets very stuffy. So if you need to make sure the room itself is very well aerated to prevent the growth of these fungal infections and these pests.
Okay. Now that you spoke about water, is there anything like too much water for cucumber? Like, can a farmer water it to an extent that now the roots get to rotting. What can you advise when it comes to watering, and within a day or within a week, how many times can a farmer water this plant?
Well, yes, I believe there's something that's too much watering. I believe too much water, again, it's basically like a flood. If you flood your beds, there'll be no aeration because the water is basically logged. So air can't move around. Fungal infections will start harboring because they do well in damp areas. So for us in our farm, what we do, we try and water late in the evening, late evenings, because when you water late evenings, during the night temperatures are low, so the water is maintained in the soil. It doesn't evaporate, it doesn't leave the soil. So we try to water our plants in the late evenings, and yeah, we time the for us we time. Let's say you can decide this part of the greenhouse will get water for, let's say, 10-15 minutes. You just gauge by how the bed looks, with how drenched the bed becomes. Yes.
All right. And still on the bed, when you look at spacing of this plant, what is the ideal spacing, and how do you make sure that you give them, equal space for them now to receive maybe the nutrients and the water? Yeah.
Okay, so for us, like I said, we use drip irrigations, and normally the drip lines, they have markings of how far the drip pots are from each other. So for us, we space them 30 centimeters apart from each other. So whenever the drip lines are set, you can just know where the measurements are going to be. So for the inputs, you also, wherever the plant is planted, on the other side of the drip line, that's where you put your fertilizer, because water will just drip there and it will dissolve the fertilizer and it will be taken up by the plant. So basically the drip line, it guides us because it has all the dimensions, it has the spacing and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Stephen, let me hold you right there. We're going to go for a short break, but we'll be back with more. So don't go too far. Remember, we are speaking about cucumber farming. All right, welcome back. And this is Farm Kenya Show right here on KTN. And today we are talking about cucumber farming. And we are joined by Stephen Kihoro, who is a cucumber farmer. And earlier on, before we went for break, we were speaking about the management practices earlier when maybe cucumber is very, very young. But now let's get into the conversation and continue with that. All right, so when you look at the farm itself, you've said they need to be raised on a seed bed. They need to be the room needs to be very well aerated, not even the room, the greenhouse needs to be very well aerated. And now, when it comes to the diseases and pests, how do you prevent that? How do you make sure that this sensitive plant doesn't get the mildew the way you are saying, and also all these other pests?
Well, we do weekly farm visits. We go there and we do scouting. So for the pests, you can see them on the surface of the leaves or below the leaves. So we try to prevent rather than to cure. So the moment you see them, it is prudent that you start spraying. Although we do weekly sprays for both pesticide, the fungicides, and the foliar. So we take care of the whole spectrum in every week. For this week, we'll spray, let's say, a product that deals with aphids. The next week, we'll spray a product that deals with whiteflies or spider mites. For the fungal infections, we spray fungicides every week, sometimes twice a week, because they're really prone to fungal infections.
Okay.
Yes.
And the sensitivity of this plant makes it very, very delicate when it comes to growing it. So for farmers, what would you advise when it comes to spraying? How should they spray? What methods can they use? And where is it ideal to spray? When is it ideal to spray? Is it during the day or is it during the night?
Okay, so for the spraying, it's mostly for the fungal and the pesticides. They are contact. They work with contact. So if it comes in contact with the aphids, it will get the job done. But for something like the fungicide, it is mostly advisable to spray it at the bottom side of the leaves, because basic biology back in primary, the stomata, they are found below the bottom, at the bottom of the leaf. So try as much as you can to target the bottom part of the leaf, because also that's where most pests hide. They don't settle on the top.
Yes,
they are mostly at the bottom. So spraying, making sure they touch the bottom is prudent, and the best time that we found is best for this is late in the afternoon. The same time we just give them water. You can open the drips, they get water while you do your spraying.
Okay.
Yeah, it works best for us.
Okay. That's pretty good and very, very insightful as well for anyone who maybe did not know or have an idea on what they need to do. All right, so when you look at also the way in which this plant grows, what is the duration? When can you say, okay, now this is mature enough, I can now harvest? And what goes into now making sure that you harvest it and put it safe? So you can tell us the maturity first of all, so that we know after how long is the plant mature?
Well, cucumbers mature pretty fast compared to other crops. From the time of transplanting to your first harvest, it's between 45 to, let's say, 60 days. So let's say at most 2 months, you will have your first harvest. So for the maturity, basically you can just check the size. We see the size and see, this is good. You need that size, you can harvest that. Or the plant itself can tell you if it's matured, because some of them don't grow to be so big. But then after a week or two, you see no change in that cucumber. So you can check the size or even the texture. Yeah, a matured cucumber feels different from one that is still growing. Yeah.
And the farms that you've been able to visit, or your farm, when you look at an acre of cucumber, is that profitable enough for a farmer to venture into? Or is it something that maybe you can say it needs a more large-scale type of farmers in order for them to just get good returns?
I'll actually say an acre is quite big. If you have an acre and a cucumbers in a greenhouse, then it's really profitable. Because for us, our greenhouses they are built on 8 acres, maybe 16 by 30, 24 by 24. So if you have an acre and it's under cucumber production, then you are very profitable.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the seasons, the weather patterns that are there. And now that it grows under a greenhouse, are they in a way affecting, does the weather really affect cucumber that is in a greenhouse? Because greenhouse become hot.
Yes.
Very, very hot.
Yeah.
So does the weather really affect them in a way when they're in a greenhouse?
Well, yeah, to some extent, yes, because during the cold season, the temperatures in the greenhouse also go low.
Yes.
But when temperatures are high, it goes really high. So cucumbers, they do well when the temperatures are high, but not exaggeratedly high. So the temperatures have to be high for maximum production, for maximum fruit production. But also the aeration is very important, because the buildup of heat, it leads to a lot of infections. So aeration and moderately high temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the cleaning of the structure, the greenhouse. Since this is a delicate plant, how do you clean the area, and how do you make sure that there is no contact from maybe outside animals, small animals that may come in and bring in bacteria and all this dirty stuff?
Well, the structure, how it's built, the way the paper is built, it is dug deep, let's say a meter inside. So it's very hard for rodents or animals, although some find a way to get in, but it's really hard for them to get in. And for the hygiene inside the greenhouse, we tend to try and we don't bring so much people inside the cucumber greenhouse, because we tried once, and I don't want to blame them, but after they came, there was that's when the infection started. So we thought maybe maybe we should get some gear only for the cucumber greenhouse, and only the farm hands can take a walk in the cucumber greenhouse.
I'm really curious to know, what is it in the cucumber? What is it? Is it the way? Is it the DNA of the cucumber? What makes it very sensitive?
I really do not know. Because as you'll do this season the same way as the next season, but one will just have it.
One season will not be successful.
You'll decide.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at also the capital, how much it costs to set up a structure that can hold, maybe you've said the acres that you have, but for example, for like a 1 acre, how much does it cost to set up that? And how much does it cost maybe a farmer, or will it cost a farmer? And also for the soil pH, you can tell us if the pH really matters when it comes to cucumber growing.
Yeah, so when it comes to the soil properties, we're not really experts at that. So what we do, we hire companies that come, they do all the soil tests, then you tell them what you want to plant in your soil. So they'll tell you what is missing from your soil, what you can add. So the soil components part, it's covered by some other companies. The structure for us, I can't give you the math for the acre, but I can give you for 1/8 of an acre, because that's what we have. Ours is 24 by 24 meters. So to set up the structure, plus the inputs, the manure, and the seedlings, it costs us roughly 450,000 to 500,000.
Yes.
That's what it costs to set up a 24 by 24 meter greenhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back and look at a farmer wants to buy the seeds for them to grow. What quality standards should they look at when it comes to the seed? And what should they be careful about, especially when now you've grown the seed, the seedling, you have the seedling now, you want to transplant it, but maybe there are some properties that it has that maybe cannot be transplanted. So first of all, let's start with the seeds. What do farmers need to look out for on the seeds? And then I will move on to the next.
Well, for the seeds, you need to look for one that is very highly resistant to these fungal infections. And even if they get the fungal infections, they can easily recover. They should not be very easily susceptible to these infections.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the market for cucumber. Let's look at the market in Kenya and how it looks. From what you've been able to experience, is it a crop or is it a plant that you would say is something that a farmer can get into and get very good returns? How, first of all, does the market even look?
Well, for us, the market has been fair to us because quality is king. So if you produce quality products, you will probably most likely find a buyer. So we try to walk around markets with our products. We show them what we have, and we also try to showcase our products in our social media pages. So for us, the market has been very fair to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what are some of the challenges that you've been able to encounter as a cucumber farmer? And what would you advise farmers who are maybe cucumber farmers, but the yield at the end of the season is not good enough? Yes.
So some of the challenges are the startup capital. Yeah, to set up the greenhouse and all the requirements costs you like 500,000, which is not little money.
Yes.
So it's challenging. One, it's the initial cost, and like I said, the fungal infections. So I think if I was to give advice to anyone, we find out the best way to learn is to visit other farmers, because they know something that we don't. So you can go pick up something from them, pick up one thing from another farmer, and when you put them all together, you'll have a very good season. So I think farm visits to other farms are one of the most crucial ways to make sure you have a good harvest and a good season. Yeah.
And also, even within the market, what are some of the challenges within the market? Because now, someone might say, okay, I want to get into cucumber farming, but I'm not really sure how the market is. I'm not really sure if I'm going to get customers, if I'm going to get... So what are some of the challenges that maybe you've been able to encounter within the market?
Well, I would say our main challenge is middlemen. You know, they come to the farm, and when they come to your farm, they basically take your product at farm gate price. And generally, farm gate prices are very low. So most farmers you get, they make very, very little profit. Sometimes even the middleman makes more profit than the farmer.
Yes.
So I would say middlemen are one of the... If you can find your own way to the market, it's not easy, but if you can path out your own way to the market, then you'll be a very happy farmer. Yeah.
So middlemen are really the main challenge.
Yeah.
All right. So even as we move on and look at the challenges in the farm, when you are growing cucumber in the farm earlier on, is there a fertilizer program that maybe you would say you use, or how do you make sure that you're giving this soil of yours more nutrients to grow this plant very well?
Yeah, well, before we start every season, we first of all we set the organic manure. Yeah, we purchase some manure which is mixed with the soil, and then we normally have a feeding program, and that feeding program it involves the pesticide, the foliar, and the fungicide. The fertilizer also has a program. During planting, there's one that we'll set for the starter. After every 3 weeks, so that's when you incorporate the fertilizers for top dressing, for vegetative or fruit formation. At every 3 weeks, we make sure we put in the basal fertilizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let me take you back to the farm. It's 2 months, you have harvested your cucumber. You're now maybe planning to take it to the market. But now you reach your farm, you find that there are trees that really were planted at the same time as the other ones, but they've not produced fruit. So what do you think is the challenge when it comes to a tree that is mature but doesn't have the fruits, or the fruits that have matured but they are not really as they're not as good as maybe others? Their level of growth has not yet still reached maturity, but yet the leaves and the color shows you that, okay, this fruit is ready for harvest.
Well, I think that could stem down to very many possibilities. Maybe the watering, maybe the feeding program, maybe the variety that you bought was not that good, or maybe the environment itself, the greenhouse, how you manage it. That could really stem down to a lot of...
All right.
Yeah.
So during harvest, you've harvested, you've now stored them. How do you store your cucumbers, and how do you make sure that the produce that you've gotten from the farm reaches to where it's supposed to reach, especially the stores, or if it's even in the market? How do you do that?
Well, normally we're not that big on storage, because mostly the buyers come from the market. They come to the farm and take the entire produce. But the ones which we take home, the ones which go to eat at home, we find out when you wrap them in maybe these nylon bags, they tend to have a longer shelf life because they retain their water, because they are mostly water. So if they lose that water, they lose their life. So just try as much as you can to maintain the water in them. You can wrap them up in nylon papers, polythene bags. It gives them a longer shelf life. Yeah.
And now that you've been able to work with different farmers, what would you say is something that can be done by the government and relevant people within cucumber and even the agriculture industry and sector? What is the support that you think farmers need, especially in terms of cucumber, and how can they be supported going forward?
Well, first of all, the inputs, the fertilizer, the inputs that you use in the farm, they are quite costly. They don't go cheap. They're quite costly, and you need them when you're farming cucumbers, especially the fungicides, because they are really susceptible to fungal infections. So these inputs tend to be really expensive. You can find maybe from the place where you plant, to the market, the roads are impassable. So if someone comes to take products from your farm and the road looks like that, they will lower the price because it's harder for them to come to your farm. So they will not struggle for that much, then come and take them at a good price. But if the roads are good, if everything is fine, everything flows well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the roads and maybe the price of inputs and fertilizers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, a cucumber farmer who has harvested and they've taken their produce to the market, they have very good produce. And on this other side, there's a farmer who maybe they grew around the same time, but they don't have their produce. So what are some of the things that you've been able to see that farmers do, cucumber farmers do, that really don't give them a good yield at the end of the day?
Well, number one is the improper feeding, because it's really important. The foliars are very important because it's what boosts the plant to make the food. So the foliar sprays, and maybe there's something called trellising, where because they are mostly creepers. So in the greenhouse, you tie ropes and you tie them, then they'll follow the path of the rope. So you find maybe a farmer, maybe they will let like 4 or 5 stems go up. So for us, we found that for us, they produced lower yields when we did that. So now we try as much as we can to go up with as less stems as we can. Maybe 1 or 2, mostly 1. For us, we go up with 1. And it proves the plant will compete for food. The fruit will be big in size and it will be a continuous production. Yeah.
And are there different varieties of cucumber?
Yeah, we have different varieties.
And which one is the most popular?
Well,
or which one do you like?
For us, Midas. It's
Midas,
yes.
Okay.
That's the one we use. It's proved to be...
How does it look? Is it what we have in the market?
Yeah, it's what you have in the market. It's actually a very common
Because
brand.
someone will ask, okay, so what is this Midas?
No, like even for me, if you put them side by side, all the fruits, I may not be able to tell you which Midas is.
Okay.
But all I know is what we've tried is Midas, and it has given us very good yields.
All right.
Yeah.
So you are a young person. Of course, you are doing this. You've worked with different farmers. You yourself are a cucumber farmer. When you look at the innovations that are coming up in agriculture to help with maybe farming, are these innovations also improving how, or going to improve how cucumber farming is done in the future?
Yeah, I would assume they do, because like mentioned earlier, the hydroponics, I'm sure that's an avenue which can be ventured into and see whether it makes sense, because I've never really looked into it. But you see, with the greenhouses and the drip, it makes everything easier. So I think the innovations actually make farming a lot easier than it was.
All right. And so when you look at the future of cucumber farming going forward, what is it that you think can be done in order for it now to, become a plant that we are even exporting, we are using in different kinds of things that can also give farmers better income?
Well, like we know, we are in Kenya and agriculture is our backbone. So I think the government can maybe give incentives to farmers. You can, lower the price of seeds, lower the price of these cucumbers, buy them at good prices. This will give the farmer incentives to do more cucumbers. The more cucumbers you have, the more income for the government. So I think they should really tap into the cucumber farming sector, because it's one of the most profitable business ventures that I've ever been into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we wrap up, you can give us your parting shots and tell people out there what is it that they can do, and also encourage the young people into this cucumber farming.
Yeah, well, I will say, people say farming it's for the old people, it's for the poor people, but when done right, it can really help you. And like I said earlier, we have a page on TikTok. It's called Farm Tribe. So they can go there and check everything they need. They'll get their. We do some lessons. We tell them what we do on the farm, the inputs that we use, and everything that we do on the farm. So I think they can go check our page.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining us today. Had so much insights today about cucumber farming. And I believe you at home have learned something today when it comes to cucumber farming and what you need to do, the how you need to prepare your land, and also how you can harvest. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. Let's meet next time right here on Farm Kenya.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi.